All right, so now we're going to discuss accidentals. An accidental is a symbol that is put in front of a note and it alters it. There's three basic types of accidentals. The first is called a sharp. The sharp looks like a number symbol. When you place a sharp in front of a note, it makes it 1 fret higher, or 1/2 step higher. Now on the guitar, that means you're going to play 1 fret higher towards the bridge. The other symbol is called a flat. Now the flat looks like a flattened B or half of a heart with a stem on it. When you place the flat in front of a note, it alters it 1/2 step lower, so 1 fret on the guitar towards the nut. And then we have a third symbol called a natural. And the natural cancels out a previous accidental that was either a sharp or a flat. So if we look at these symbols, you'll see that they're fairly easy to distinguish from one another, right? The sharp looks like the number sign, the flat looks like a flattened B, and then the natural sign is like a square with two long ends on it. Now, the funny thing about these accidentals is how they work. There's certain rules related to them. So, for example, once you place a sharp in front of a note, it applies until it is canceled either by the bar line or by a natural. So if we look at this example here, first we have a G written. And then the next note that written is a G with a sharp in front of it. That means that's going to be played 1 fret higher. But the sharp still applies to the next note. Even though there's no symbol in front of it, that sharp remains in front of it. There's only 2 ways to cancel a sharp. One way is to cross the bar line. So once we cross the measure, the bar line, that G is no longer sharp. It's regular G, or G natural. So from the beginning, this note would be G. This one is G sharp. This one is also G sharp, but this one is G. Now if we continue, the next one has a sharp in front of it, so it would be G sharp. And if I want to cancel that sharp within the bar, I have to use a natural sign. So that's how those work. Now on the fretboard, remember, let's take the note F, first fret, first string, one of the first things we learned. If I put a sharp in front of that note, it's going to mean don't play it on the first fret, but play it on the second fret, F sharp. Now let's look at how this might work with a flat. Let's choose the note G on the first string, 3rd fret. If I place a flat in front of that note, it means play it 1 fret lower towards the nut. That would be the 2nd fret. Now you notice something. F sharp and G flat are in the same spot. That occurs a lot in music, and it's really a spelling convention. It depends on the general direction of the notes. In some cases, it might make more sense for us to call that an F sharp, and in other cases, it might make more sense for us to call that a G flat. We don't really have to worry about the details of why right now. But what you should know is the term for that, and the term is enharmonic tones. So, or enharmonic equivalent is another way of labeling that. In other words, F sharp is the enharmonic equivalent of G flat. So let's look at a scale that uses a sharp, and that is the harmonic minor scale. This one's actually called an A harmonic minor scale. And you will notice it has kind of an more exotic flavor than the major scale. All of these notes are contained within the first position. So there's really nothing new here other than in this particular pattern. So I'm going to start with A on the 5th string. B, C, D, E, F, G sharp, A, B, C, D, E, F, G sharp. And that's the top of the scale. Even though I really should finish it with A, we're going to stay in the first position and then just descend from there. Scales are important to practice because they're the building blocks of music. They're the building blocks of melodies and then later chords. So it's important to get these, and also it will familiarize yourself with the fretboard and with the actual note names.